Hi, my name is Burke, and I love user interface. I've always loved user interface. I remember staring at the glory that was Compact Tab Works while I played this game called The Incredible Machine and listened to the Tears for Fears Greatest Hits album. Now, don't judge me. I was listening to Mad World way before that Donnie Darko and that creepy rabbit movie. That's an old and obscure reference. You may not get that. That's okay. What I'm trying to say is, it's not you, it's me. As Costanza would say, that's another old and obscure reference. You know what? Forget all that. Let's move on. I got my first computer when I was in the military, actually. I was in boot camp, and they pay you in boot camp, but you can't spend the money, because you're doing push-ups and stuff. And so after I got out of boot camp, my dad encouraged me to buy a computer. So I got my first computer. Oh, you can see the slides right here, which was a compact HP Pavilion. It looked just like this. And it came with Windows 98. Oh, my sounds aren't working. Yeah, there we go. And I loved Windows 98. I spent so much time just changing the themes, the different themes, looking at the icons and the text. I mean, each theme was better than the previous theme. It was incredible. It was so good. And if only I had known then, if only I had known what was coming, if only I had known about Windows XP. Okay. Do you believe in love at first sight? Does love at first sight exist? No, of course it doesn't. Don't be ridiculous. Love is a very complex human emotion, but let me tell you what does exist: infatuation. And I was infatuated with Windows XP. I mean, the curves on the start menu, the blues and the greens, the way the windows are layered in space, it was beautiful. I know it's weird, but I wasn't that socially popular, so I had a lot of time to sit around and do weird things like stare at an operating system. And then this spawned a big hacker community and a lot of tools to skin Windows XP. And when you can do that, obviously you want to make it look like OS X. That's the first thing you do. So this one goes out to Starduck. Now, as much as I love UI, I am not a designer. As much as I want to be a designer, I am not a designer. He's a designer. I'm not a designer. Now, what I can do is assemble building blocks. So if you give me sliders and drop downs and modal windows, then I can build you a UI. And I used to work for this company called Kendo UI, and so I've been fortunate to be a part of some great UI products. But you wouldn't hire me to build a website for you, okay, unless you were my mom. Otherwise, you're not going to hire me to do that. That would be subpar results. And so what I've realized through all of my time working with UI is that really the best user experience is no UI at all. So let me talk about that for a second. UI is kind of a middleman. It's a conversation, it's pre-canned, and it has boundaries, right? So we try to code for the simplest possible scenario to get a user through the process or all the processes in the world, right? And we could improve upon this UX probably a little bit. Now, there's been some great feats of UX genius. I'm still a fan of skeuomorphic design. If a baby can pick up and use an iPad without any training, that's kind of an amazing thing. Now, that said, the reason why we have UI and these wonderful buttons and sliders is because historically, we haven't been able to talk to computers until now. Natural language processing is the field of computing that deals with not just speech recognition, but extracting a user's intent from what they just said. You may be familiar with this in a couple different forms. We have Alexa, Cortana, Siri, and Google Home, or OK Google, or Google Assistant, or whatever the heck you call that thing. A lot of people have these. Now, I'm going to give you 3 examples of how I think no UI is better than a UI. The first one is creating reminders. So I can say, hey Siri, remind me to email my mom. And that experience is way better than going into the Reminders app and doing this. No matter how beautiful the Reminders app is, it will never be as easy as me just saying, do it. Another one is home automation. Here's an example of me turning lights on and off with actually, here's the app that you do it with. So here's me turning lights on and off with the app. Very nice. And now here's me doing it. Alexa, turn on the master bedroom light. I can barely hear it.
Okay.
Alexa, turn off the lights in the master bedroom. Now watch this.
Okay.
Alexa, can you turn on the master bedroom lights?
Okay.
And that is natural language processing, right? I completely botched that command 7 different ways, and it still was able to pick it up and do it. You know what's even better is if you have a Nest thermostat, you can lay in bed and control the temperature with your voice. And now that I've said that, it sounds really pathetic. You know what? Never mind. I don't ever do that. The last example I'd like to give you is a service called Digit. Digit is a remarkable little service that saves for you using machine learning based on your spending patterns, and it will give you savings updates. I blurred this out so you don't get too depressed by my low balance. And the whole interface is conversational. So it has an app now, but before, all you did was chat with it to save, to withdraw, and it was pretty resilient at understanding my commands. I didn't have to know what to say, I just said it. And I thought that was quite remarkable. So the question now is UI as we know it dead? The answer is no. No, absolutely not. There are accessibility concerns. You wouldn't want to take photos with your voice. You wouldn't want to scroll through pictures with your voice, right? Like scroll up, scroll down, that's not a good user experience. But it does give us a chance to rethink some of the ways that we build UIs, that maybe we don't need to build a UI, and instead what we need to build is something that's more conversational in nature that uses natural language processing, because that's now available to all of us. And if, I'm going to end a little bit early, several seconds early, you can check out the Lewis project here. This is a completely free tool. It's a visual interface you can build, and then as long as you know how to make an AJAX call, you can add natural language processing to your applications and or build a bot or a conversational UI. Thank you so much.